Okay, so welcome to today's lesson where we're going to find the ISO for Windows 2016. We're going to download it. Then we're going to use it in Hyper-V so that we can do an installation of Windows 2016 installation. And then in the next lesson that I'll prepare later on, we're going to see how we're going to install Active Directory and so setting up a domain controller. So to get to this page for the Evaluation Center, so we can get a copy of an ISO legally, but also we can use this for like 180 days, no problem. So that's plenty of time really to do testing, and it's for free. Perfectly legitimate for testing Windows 2016 environments. But so to find it, it's really easy. You can use the link here. And I might put the link down below below this video. But you just go to Google, type Windows ISO 2016, and most likely it's going to be the first one. So that'll bring that up. So when you do it, there's a form you have to fill out. You don't have to fill it out completely, like your real life details, but it does help Microsoft with their marketing and their statistics, I guess. In the end, my advice is to stick with the data center evaluation. There's essentials that, but I do that option, Windows 2016. It's free, so you're not paying for it. You might as well use the full featured version. All right, so we'll go into Hyper-Terminal. Now, just in case you don't know how to set up Hyper-V, it's really easy. You'll need a minimum of Windows 10 Professional Edition. So if you click here and you type in apps and features, yeah, it'll bring up another box here. There's different ways to get here, but for me this is the quickest way. Programs and features. I've got a dual monitor, so I have to keep dragging this over, but hopefully you'll be able to see that down. That might not be that clear, but then there's turn on Windows features, on or off. Okay, I've got to drag this over because it's a different screen. And then there's Hyper-V there. Just select that. That'll install. If it asks you to restart your computer, do so. You'll need things like, you'll need a CPU that will be able to handle that. More on that, maybe I might make a YouTube video later on, but there's just time constraints. But you will need to have hyper-threading or the AMD's version of that, which the name just escapes me for now. Hyper-T, I think, I'll maybe might make another video explaining the differences, but in any case, you'll need a CPU that will be able to handle that. So now that I've got Hyper-V enabled, we're going to open that. Now you can, as you can probably see, I have quite a few little operating systems set up for my own personal practice. So yep, I've got a few there. So what we're going to do now is we'll go into. I'll just zoom in a bit. Up here, there's the I've got just over on this side, on the top left there, Hyper-V Manager. I've already got a sort of like a desktop area or an area where I can add new virtual machines. Or a really simple process. Basically, right-click, create new, and I'll go to virtual machine, and it'll ask me for some details. So I'll just go to next. Now I'll call this just test virtual machine. Actually, you know what I might do? I might make it meaningful. So say Contoso DC domain controller. I like to have a special, like I've got a disk in place, its own area where I've got. Let's have a look here. I put my ISOs in there. So I might choose that folder, click on that one, so it becomes a D drive. I like to separate my virtual machines and other files in different hard drives, like physical hard drives, not just partition, but physical hard drives. Go to next. I like to choose generation 2, but you might need to stick with generation 1. Again, this is a topic for another time. We might get into it, but we'll leave it at generation 1 for now. But usually I would do generation 2. Click on that one. Choose at least 4 gigs of RAM at least for the domain controller. Click on next. I'm going to use my default switch. I've set up other switches there, but I'm going to do this default, so it'll be able to connect to the internet. Whereas these other ones, I've configured it in a way where it can't connect to the internet just yet, unless I have a router kind of set up there. But we'll leave it as a default switch. Go to next. I'm going to give the hard drive about 40 gigabytes of hard drive space there. Now go to next. Now this is where you're going to use, like this, where you actually downloaded the ISO, because the ISO is going to act like a DVD drive. Now if you had a physical CD drive, which I don't, you could use a physical media, but we're going to go to an image file. Let's have a look over here. Hopefully you can see that a bit better there. So I'm going to go to my D drive, and as you can see, I've already been playing with something here with Windows 10 Pro. But let's go to server ISO. I've got a section of my favorite virtual machines that ISOs that I like to use. That's pretty cool. Go to 2016 here, and these are all legitimate Windows 2016 machines that you have up to 180 days to play around with. No problem, so you can do that. And then we'll click on open. So now when the virtual machine starts, it's going to view that as if it's a DVD drive, and it'll boot off it. And we're going to show you that right now. So click on next, finish. Okay, so now in Hyper-V, we've got several servers there that I've been playing around, but Contoso DC, just here, is the one I just set up now. I've got other ones here that I've turned off, so it doesn't interfere with our lab here. I highly advise everyone to do this, practice, and just keep playing. In this environment, you can break things, you can have fun, and you can really enjoy it. You're not going to damage anything really. There is a possibility that if you have a DHCP server on your virtual machine here, and you take your laptop into work, you can cause some sort of like issues there. So make sure you turn this off if you're taking your laptop to work. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to start this, and then I'm going to right click and connect. So let's so now it's going to bring this up into another window, and you can see that it's loaded straight away. Now if you choose generation 2, you might get a button at the start where you actually have to tap on it. You have to type a button to load it, but to load this environment. So far, PCCake really easy so far. Right, so now we've got language to install, time and currency format. I like to time and currency format. I like to use Australia because we're in Australia. I think it's quite important to get the time and currency format correctly, especially if you're in the UK or Europe. You definitely want to make sure that you've got this correctly selected. So I'm going to try and find Australia. Keyboard is going to be US. We pretty much use the US. And language to install. At the moment, I don't really have that many options. Australian is English is slightly different. I'll click on install. So this will take a little bit of time while this is installing. Just a bit of a brief difference, and funnily enough, this has come up really quickly, but it says standard evaluation and data center evaluation. it defaults to standard evaluation. But be careful, because this is actually Windows Core. You do not get a graphical user interface on selecting this one. You have to click on Desktop Experience. My suggestion also is go to the Data Center Evaluation, so that you get the full access to the full features in that one. So select on this one. I am going to definitely do another YouTube video where I'm going to set up a DHCP server with Windows Core, because there's no graphical user interface on that one, and it just makes it lighter and the attack surface lower as well. So, but for now, we want to set up a domain controller. And in my advice, when you're beginning, like even experts really, stick to the graphical user interface. It'll be wiser that way, so you can get a graphical visualization of the domain controller. Select the next. I do indeed accept the terms and license. Click on next. This is a bit like a Windows 10 installation, not a huge difference. Click on Windows only. You can play around with the formatting of the hard drive, setting up partitions here if you like, but I only got 40 gigs to play around with. I don't need to partition it really. In production environments, you would need to take care and focus on this, especially if you've got like RAID controllers or SCSI drives, where you need to load a driver specifically for the type of hard drives you have there. You could format here, but this is sort of like something we can do videos later, or we can discuss later. If anyone is interested, just ask me, I'll be able to guide you further. We're going to next that. That's pretty much it for a while, for another 5 minutes, maybe even less than that. It's a pretty quick process. Now, the way that these work, Windows 10 and Windows 2016 introduces, well, Windows 8 kind of introduced this, but Windows 10 kind of masters this concept where the installation, it's not installing like how a program like unpackages it and brings in different things. It's sort of like there's an actual library involved in this ISO, or this like a DVD. So it's actually like a library that kind of unpacks things. It's not going to unpack everything. So not everything gets installed, especially like with roles and features. DHCP is not installed by default. DNS is not. But it's sort of like, I don't want to overcomplicate this because it's not that complicated process, but it will install things when we need it, right? But I'm going to pause the video for now until we get to the stage a little bit later on. So we've restarted now. I'm just going to expand that so we get a full view here. Might look a bit strange for now, but it will expand shortly. It's got administrator's default username, but I'm just going to write password just to get going. Okay. So I'm going to press just the Control-Alt-Delete here on the top left. Just up here. Okay, do that now, and we'll be able to log in. Remember, we did password. Again, this virtualized area, it's a really great place to learn and practice instead of just looking at books and etc. But we'll see if we can make it a bit bigger for it so that we can have a bit more of a view there. Alright, so I've made the screen maybe a bit more manageable, I hope. So now this is, so now that we've, so what we've done is we've downloaded the ISO. We have opened up Hyper-V. We've seen how to get Hyper-V running. We've gone through the setup process of setting up a new Windows 2016 environment. And as you can see, it's been successful. In the next video, I'm going to do a video on installing Active Directory Domain Controller. Thanks, guys. And yeah, we'll speak to you very shortly when we install the Windows controller.